Hey there, internet friends, Trevor Starkey here, and welcome to another episode of Wrestling Wednesday. This episode, of course, is going to be the Clash of Champions results episode. We kicked it off with the Hype Bros match, the Zack Ryder versus Mojo Rawley, and in my whole regular weekly, or bi-weekly, or every pay-per-view Portillo's bet with Cameron, this match and the four-way tag team match, I believe, are the only places where we differed in our predictions. So it was all going to come down to this match and the tag match to see who would actually win the Portillos this time. And he predicted Ryder. So when Mojo Rawley ends up winning this match in the pre-show, I was like, oh my god, is this the time I'm going to win? Because he'd predicted the Usos for the tag team championships, and I predicted the New Day, but I was one up. I just needed the Usos to not win, and anybody else winning would have given me my first victory over Cameron. We'll get there. This first match was fine. It was a pre-show kickoff match. Got a little bit of energy going for the crowd. Not too much here, and they didn't even revisit it on Tuesday. So who knows what's going on with Mojo versus Zack Ryder? If this was their one and done, or if they're gonna continue dragging this feud out a little bit, or if Mojo just kind of moves to the mid card, maybe he or Zack Ryder kind of hop into the United States Championship scene. Who knows what's going on there? So yeah, that was Mojo Rawley won this one, gave me a one-up potential victory over Cameron this month, but it was short-lived. Getting into the actual matches of the card, we kicked off with the United States Championship, Baron Corbin versus Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler, and both Cameron and I had Roode winning this, them taking the belt off Corbin and putting it on Roode as the next guy. So both of us were very surprised when Dolph Ziggler ended up winning it out of nowhere. Both of us kind of were like, they don't really know what to do with him, so they're not going to give him the belt. And we still don't really know what they're going to do with him. There was the moment he came out on Tuesday and maybe quit. We don't I don't know. I mean, that would certainly be an interesting send-off for Dolph if he basically convinced the writing team to basically say, hey, my contract's almost up, let's go ahead and write me off, but write me off as a champion, and then I can, just vacate the title, just leave, say, you guys don't deserve me, and just walk away, leave the belt in the ring, and then you can, it'll inject some new life, and you'll have to build the United States Championship from scratch out of a tournament or something like that. That'd be interesting. So, still up in the air as to what's actually going on there, if Dolph will be back next week, or if the United States Championship is once again up for grabs. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see where that goes next. Up next, we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the Usos, the New Day, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, and Rusev Day, Rusev and Aiden English. Rusev Day certainly the most over of this bunch, it seems, kind of maybe even coming past New Day, at least in terms of the crowd cheering and chants and whatnot here. It was a fine match. Didn't reach the heights of a lot of the New Day and Usos other matches this year, and I think part of that is just kind of from the overly crowded layout of the match of this structure, but you got good offense in there from Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, as well as from Rusev and Aiden English, so I think it did a good job kind of building up those two teams to top-tier level, and it's, I didn't think I'd ever care about a tag team match between Rusev and Aiden English, but I'd like to see them maybe take the belts for a little bit, have some fun with it. I mean, Rusev, I think, deserves it. I wouldn't have pegged Aiden English as a partner with him, but they seem to be having some fun with that, so we'll see where they go. Usos kept it here, which meant Cameron and I ended up tying, which, at least they didn't, go out losing once again at the end of the year, but it would have been nice to finally pull one win and break the streak, but alas, the odds were not in my favor. Well, the odds were in my favor, but the WWE creative team just screwed me on that one, so. Moving on to the SmackDown Women's Championship between Charlotte Flair and Natalya in the Lumberjack match. this went pretty much as expected. Lumberjacks got involved and you know, were beating up on Charlotte, and then leaving Natalya alone a little bit, and then Naomi, as like the only real face lumberjack out there, attacked Natalya a little bit, but Charlotte ended up overcoming the odds and stealing the victory, or walking away with the victory, not stealing it. Then you had the weird Natalya segment afterwards, where maybe she's, you know, on her ways out as well. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. It was kind of predictable. We expected probably Charlotte to retain the championship here. So, meh. That led to the quick 2-minute squash match between Breezango and the Bludgeon Brothers. Would have been nice to see Breezango get a little bit more offense in here. It's unfortunate that they've been mostly relegated to their little Fashion Files segment for so long that, like, we almost never see them in the ring, and now that they've put the Bludgeon Brothers over as the big old monsters, you know, I don't know what we're gonna see in the way of Breezango in the near future. You know, maybe they hop back on screen and just kind of enjoy some time in the lower card of the tag team division for a little while. Who knows? But Bludgeon Brothers got the victory as everybody expected them to. Then we had the tag team match between Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan as our guest referees. And the match here was basically just entirely set up for the stuff that Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were going to do. So there weren't too many great big moments in the match itself. I mean, you had, like, I guess Kevin Owens splashing onto Shinsuke Nakamura at the announce table, but that's like the only memorable moment for me, I think. Then you had, of course, Owens throwing Daniel Bryan into Shane McMahon to break up one of the pinfall attempts, and that got, like, the feud between the two of them going. Then you had Shane stopping the count at 2, very, you know, dramatically. And then you had the quick count from Daniel Bryan. So it didn't go quite as I had anticipated, but it was still very much like not quite a heel turn for Daniel Bryan. Another one that was pretty predictable overall. I don't think anybody really expected Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to be leaving the company, so it just took a quick count from Daniel Bryan, and that one was done. And finally, defying my expectations, we had the final match between AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship. I was expecting this one to go on next to last, and then the guest referee match to be the closing thing. So you had, you know, mystery of, like, oh, did Daniel Bryan turn or whatnot? They didn't do that. They went the more traditional route and kept the big championship as the top of the card. So, you know, good on that. Hopefully this means that the whole Jinder experiment is done. It was a fine match. AJ gets, you know, the best matches out of probably everybody he fights, but Jinder definitely just wasn't. He's just not on the same level, and it shows. I think anytime he's really put in the position where he has to try and, like, carry. But finally, we had AJ squashing even the, like, Singh brothers interference. So even the Singh brothers couldn't help Jinder get to the win. So hopefully that means Jinder is finally done from this scene, and we can move on to AJ versus some of the other competitors. Maybe Kevin Owens tries to come up against AJ after their U.S. rivalry earlier in the year. Overall, a pretty lackluster pay-per-view. You had basically the one championship swap for Dolph Ziggler taking it, which surprised, I think, a lot of people. But yeah, nobody else really standing out, I think, in this show. It's kind of a lackluster way to end the year, I think, for WWE. I think they're all putting all their eggs into the Royal Rumble basket. We also got, of course, the announcement this week that that will feature a female Royal Rumble, which I'm pretty sure I said in my video after the Absolution and Riot Squad, like, joined that week. I figured, oh, hey, there's a lot of women joining the main roster now, so it seems like they're setting up for, you know, having enough people in there for a Royal Rumble come January. So looks like that turned out to be the case. So now I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Royal Rumble, but not at all because of Clash of Champions. Clash of Champions was just kind of a bleh show to end out the year, so that's a little disappointing. Let me know what you thought about the show in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.